Hey everyone, when the idea of the European Union was first discussed, for me, when I became aware of it originally, it was a concept that was introduced first in the mid 80s, and then it gathered steam and finally became a reality in 1999 and fully certified and ratified in 2002. But the way it was pitched to me, of course I'm an American, is that it was a way the for Europe to gain economic power with respect to the United States by essentially eliminating the standard forms of trade blocks, and I mean restrictions that are hampering the free exchange of goods and services between, say, France and Italy, or France and Germany. You get the idea. Or Great Britain and Germany, and so on. You get the idea. It was supposed to have this one super region, and it worked. The best example of the success of the European Union, from my perspective, is Airbus, and how Airbus took over, for the most part, the aircraft manufacturing industry and posed a very real, to this day, threat to the supremacy of Boeing, from developing the world's largest aircraft in the Airbus A380 to really gaining more than a foothold, in some cases a beachhead, in terms of establishing an aircraft that is used as a workhorse, the Airbus A320, as much as its counterpart, the Boeing 777, 757, and 767s and 737 stretches have been. That is amazing. I would not have predicted that as the result of the European Union if you told me that was going to happen when we talked about it back in the mid 80s. I would have said, nah, I can't see that. But that's exactly what's happened. I can go on and on and on about this overall success of the European Union, but that's from American outsider perspective. There are people in the European Union, in Great Britain specifically, who feel that they don't have any real control over their borders. That is a loss right there. And you have this wave of immigrants coming in that some people feel are taking their jobs and depressing their wages. What happened with Brexit, when I looked at the numbers and the reports, is simply that the United Kingdom's millennial population didn't vote. And you would say, okay, why is that? Well, look, when the whole concept of the European Union was discussed, and then when it was created, they're either not born or just being born. And they just got to a point where they were voting around this time, if just not a little bit before. Now, you would say, what does all that have to do with the United States? Everything. And I'll tell you why. Because 2016 is supposed to be a really exciting election year. We have the first woman who is the presumptive winner, the presumptive nominee of a party for president of the United States, the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton. On the other side, we have Donald Trump. Who would have thought that the billionaire real estate developer who was best known for The Apprentice would become the Republican presumptive nominee for president of the United States? But look at how Donald Trump got there. He got there in a shockingly similar way to the kind of rhetoric that led to Brexit. That's right. Anti-immigrant, nationalist, and racist. And my fear is that the same could happen here if millennials here don't come out to vote. Baby boomers, those between 52 and 80, already are registered to vote in larger numbers than their millennial counterparts as of now. And the middle group of Gen Xers are just sort of taking up the third position. It's basically, as I understand it, baby boomers, millennials, and the Gen Xers in the middle there. But the bottom line is the millennials in the United States are becoming known as the stay-at-homers, the ones who talk about voting, but they don't actually vote. So how else to explain the fascinating popularity of Bernie Sanders, but that popularity doesn't translate to a vote? How else to explain the shocking loss of Donna Edwards in the Maryland Senate race, who would have been the first black female Democratic representative for senator, to her white counterpart, white male traditional establishment counterpart. The people who said they were going to vote didn't vote. They stayed at home. What's happening overall is that Democratic numbers in 2016 are less than they were in 2008 when Barack Obama ran. And it wasn't just because Barack was black. Barack was an exciting black male candidate. One of the most exciting presidential candidates we've ever had in our history, and the numbers prove it. We're going to need that as Democrats, that kind of excitement to beat Donald Trump. If we don't have that, we are in trouble. And I say that because the problem is that Donald Trump, while his numbers in terms of primaries aren't as large as the Democrats, because of his existence, Republican turnout has set records in at least 10 states during the primary. That's right, records, okay? So, released into a general election with a candidate who is a wild card, who's been pissing off his own party, that is the huge unknown. It is the giant unknown. And you have to admit, with Brexit, we have entered the unknown. The question is, what are we going to do as Democrats to prevent this? We've got to simply concentrate like never before on getting out the vote. I was in a Lyft car last week, and this gentleman who just moved to the United States from Nigeria a few years ago was talking about how much he enjoyed America, and I said, well, did you vote? And he goes, no, but I'm for Hillary. And he's 22, millennial. I said, wait a minute. You can't say that you're for Hillary and you didn't vote. It doesn't matter. You can talk as much as you want to, but you didn't get out there and punch the lever or punch the paper and get that sticker that says I voted, which makes you feel like you've actually done something. Until you've done that, you haven't contributed to what matters most in this society. And particularly as someone black, you have to be aware of that. I said, did you tell your dad you didn't vote? He goes, no. I said, don't your dad to kill you. Because we, in his father's generation is my generation. We get the importance of voting because we were denied the right to vote by those who were white, who would dare impose their will upon us and us not fight back, okay? This is a different time. For someone black to come out and say, my vote doesn't count, we have rappers that have done that, which I'm going to make another vlog about a certain rapper, is shameful. Voting is important. It really is. Don't turn around to me if we have President Donald Trump and say, oh, well, I didn't vote. Because my response to you is going to be, it was your fault.